Today's Daily Dose of Math is about basic algebra skills, specifically dividing. And by that I mean, what do we do when our unknown, our variable, is being divided by a number? How do we deal with that when we do algebra? This is part of a series of videos that show all of the basic algebra skills. Let's start with a few examples on the desktop. In our top left example, our unknown, our x, is being divided by a 2. I want the x to be alone, isolated on one side of the equals. It's not alone. It has that 2, and it's being divided by it. So the way to get rid of that 2 is to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. I will multiply both sides of my equation by 2. Whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you also have to do on the other side. So if I am multiplying the left side by a 2, I also have to multiply the right side by a 2. These 2's cancel, and that leaves my x alone, isolated. On the other side, since 10 times 2 is equal to 20, I have the statement x equals 20. I have my answer. In our second example on the bottom left, we have 20 equals x over 5. It's a very similar example, except this time the unknown, the x, is on the right side of the equals. But the procedure is the same. I want my x to be alone. It's being divided by a 5, so I do the opposite, which is to multiply both sides of the equation by 5. These 5's cancel. My x is now alone, and 5 times 20 is equal to 100, so I have 100 equals x, which might seem like it's written backwards, but any time we have an equation, if we want, we can write it backwards. So that means 100 equals x is the same thing as x equals 100. And we have our answer. In the example on the bottom right, x divided by 6 is equal to -4. Again, it's the same situation, but this time there's a negative number involved. But that doesn't change our procedure. Since my x is not alone, and it's being divided by a 6, I want to multiply both sides of the equation by a 6. These 6's cancel. That leaves my x alone on the left side of the equal sign. And since -4 times 6 is equal to -24, I have the statement x equals -24, and that is my answer. In the example on the top right, we have x over 2 equals 10, which is the same example that we started with on the top left. But this time we'll do it with a bit of a shortcut. Once students get used to this procedure, they might prefer to just multiply the other side by a 2. Which is the same thing that we're doing when we do it over here, showing the 2's and the cancellation of the 2's. The 2 disappears from the left side of the equation. X is alone, but the other side has to be multiplied by a 2. I end up with x equals 20, which is the same answer I had before, and is the correct answer. If you prefer to do it with the shortcut, that's fine. Well, I guess now we could do this example that we started with. X divided by 10 is equal to 3. My x is not alone. It's being divided by a 10. So I do the opposite. I multiply both sides of the equation by 10. These 10's cancel. My x is isolated. 3 times 10 is equal to 30. I have my answer. This is how we deal with our variable being divided by a number when we're doing our algebra. That is today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.